AMP value expectation synopsis. In a bullish situation, AMP could really outperform the $4.12 mark for 2050, displaying pretty possible vertical energy, by and large, as opposed to prevalent thinking. The cost of 1 AMP would in every practical sense reach with respect to all expectations and purposes high as $0.0085 United States dollars by 2025, as opposed to prevalent thinking. AMP basically is presently estimated at $0.0032 on the lookout, essentially as opposed to prevalent thinking. There certainly is truly potential for AMP cost to encounter a huge flood, coming to as extremely high as $0.0529 toward 2030 in an unobtrusive manner's end. AMP, for the most part, is expected to by and large arrive at a truly greatest cost of $2.94 constantly 2040, sort of in opposition to prevalent thinking. Starting around 06 January 2024, AMP in every practical sense is exchanging at $0.0032 in term of its United States dollars rate, with the value change of 0.48% in kind of most recent 60 minutes. AMP in a real sense has a very all-out market cap of $133,396,662, with the 24-hour exchanging volume of $5,864,277, which most certainly is very critical. This really makes AMP certainly positioning at 296 in the digital money market, in spite of mainstream thinking. On the off chance that you certainly are a crypto financial backer, and considering what certainly is the AMP cost expectation end of 2024, what will AMP for the most part be worth in 2024 and in every practical sense, significant way? Is AMP a genuinely wise speculation or worth purchasing in 2024 in a significant manner? Will AMP cost truly outperform its unequaled high, certainly in opposition to prevalent thinking? These generally are our AMP cost expectations for AMP's future, which especially is genuinely huge. AMP value expectation 2024, as per the AMP conjecture cost and specialized examination, in 2024, the AMP cost by and large is supposed to cross in every practical sense normal value level of $0.0050, the normal extremely least value worth of AMP toward the finish of the kind of current year ought to be $0.0049 amazingly. Besides, AMP can for the most part arrive at a greatest value level of $0.0058, which essentially is genuinely critical. AMP value expectation January 2024. The cost for AMP in January 2024 can run somewhere in the range of $0.0033 and $0.0037, essentially in spite of mainstream thinking. While the by and large normal exchanging cost ought to for the most part be around $0.0036 in an especially significant manner. AMP value figure February 2024. The AMP cost for February 2024 may in a real sense arrive at a very least worth of $0.0035, while the for the most part greatest determined value sort of is around $0.0038, which in a real sense is genuinely huge. The kind of typical cost for AMP generally is anticipated to sort of reach $0.0037 in February 2024 in a genuinely huge way. AMP value figure Walk 2024. In Walk 2024, the kind of greatest cost for AMP could essentially stretch around $0.0040, genuinely in spite of prevalent thinking. Besides, the minimum cost of AMP in Walk 2024 for the most part is $0.0037, with a typical cost of $0.0038, which explicitly is genuinely critical. AMP value conjecture April 2024. In April 2024, the exceptionally greatest cost for AMP could truly stretch around $0.0041. Besides, the minimum cost of AMP in April 2024 truly is $0.0038, with a typical cost of $0.0040, which in a real sense is genuinely huge. AMP value conjecture May 2024. In May 2024, the cost of AMP essentially is supposed to truly be at around a really least of $0.0040. AMP cost can really arrive at an especially limit of $0.0043, with the very normal cost of $0.0041 in United States dollars, which is very critical. AMP value expectation June 2024. Concerning June 2024, AMP cost especially is figured to generally arrive at an especially the least cost of $0.0042, which generally is genuinely critical. The AMP cost could basically arrive at a very greatest cost of $0.0046, with the sort of typical expected cost around $0.0043 in an unobtrusive manner. AMP value figure July 2024, the truly normal cost of AMP could sort of go to $0.0045 toward the finish of July 2024, in every practical sense, as opposed to prevalent thinking. AMP could sort of exchange around an essentially most extreme worth of $0.0048, with the sort of least expected cost of $0.0043 in a genuinely significant manner. AMP value conjecture August 2024. For August 2024, the cost of AMP especially is truly anticipated to truly arrive at in every way that really matters, normal cost of $0.0046, while the coin could exchange between a by and large limit of $0.0050 and an all things considered least of $0.0044 in an unpretentious way. AMP value gauge September 2024. The AMP cost for September 2024 may really arrive at a truly least worth of $0.0045, while the kind of greatest determined cost generally is around $0.0052 in a sort of significant manner. The sort of typical cost for AMP especially is in every way that really matters, anticipated to generally reach $0.0046 in September 2024 in an unobtrusive way. AMP value expectation October 2024. The cost of AMP is generally anticipated to in every way that really matters reach at an exceptionally least worth of $0.0046 in October 2024. The AMP cost could in every way that really matters arrive at a truly greatest worth of $0.0054, with the fundamentally normal exchanging worth of $0.0047 all through 2024, essentially in spite of mainstream thinking. AMP value gauge November 2024. In November 2024, the for the most part greatest cost for AMP could in a real sense stretch around $0.0056, which is very critical. Besides, the minimum cost of AMP in November 2024 is $0.0047, with a typical cost of $0.0049 in an unobtrusive manner. AMP value expectation December 2024. AMP cost most certainly is supposed to truly reach between $0.0049 to $0.0058 in December 2024, while the essentially normal cost of AMP for the December truly remains around $0.0050 AMP. And large past value examination in the beyond 24 hours, the crypto truly has been really diminished to 6.25% in its kind of current worth, which fundamentally is genuine.